Well, and thinking about the people who have supported you on this journey, I want to go through some board seats. Again, working as a brand strategy consultant, I tell people it's helpful to have people who are in your corner who are acting in very specific ways, not one
Mhm.
person who's doing everything for you. And it's these board seats. Again, I encourage people to have folks in mind for it: the cheerleader, the critic, the consoler, and the connector. Jemele, who has been one or maybe a couple of people who have been like, nothing you do is bad. Let's have some champagne. I'm cheering you on. Let's have a parade. Who's your cheerleader?
Oh, yeah, I mean, immediately, of course, everybody's mama comes to mind. It's like, my mom is definitely that, I would say that board member would be either her or my best friend, Kelly Carter is like, yeah, I know, like, they're gonna cheer me on no matter what. Like, my mom constantly tells me that, like, I'm team you all the time. I was like, "Ma, sometimes I ain't always right." She be like, "I don't care." I'm like, "All right, okay." And so I'm like, "All right, that's pretty good." Um, just thinking about, that team is like my husband is like a really amazing, extremely supportive, but also knows me well enough to know that I desire growth. And through desiring growth, that means that I do need to be told that, like, maybe you should have tried this, or like this would be better. And he's certainly not like, I wouldn't put him as the critic. He's not constantly like, more than anything, the best, because he's been there when I've given a lot of, speeches, speaking engagements, or whatever. And he always says the same thing. He's like, I am just constantly impressed by you. Like you just, it's like, I'm amazed at like what you're able to just do. Um, but he's also not afraid to tell me where I could be better, not necessarily with a speaking engagement, but just in some like ideas. Like he's really good at marketing, like really good at that. And that's like a chip I don't always have. And so his role on my board, so to speak, is that he understands the areas in which I am not as developed on, and how to contribute to those areas to bring value. Not like as just a person, but like just bring value to the things that he knows I'm building. So he's really, good with that in terms of, people, because I do tell young people that this as well is like, you got to have mentors and you got to have sponsors. And those are two different things, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
mentors are people you can bounce ideas off of. You guys are, a lot of times, I believe in what something Issa Rae said, is that your best mentor is the person sitting next to you, not above you. Because the person next to you is like they're going literally through the same things that you are. So they have a different level of understanding. And, like from a information sponsorship standpoint, I've had like a lot of like, I remember when I was going through maybe my second or third contract at ESPN, and Michael Wilbon gave me a ton of advice I would never forget. Jim Rome also, same thing. Like they probably, the two of them probably gave me the best salary advice I'd ever gotten, that helped me feel more confident about what I was asking for, what I felt I deserved, those sorts of things. And that's an important part of the journey, is like you have to be aggressive about what you're worth. And before, like early on, as I was trying to figure my way out and figure my way just in general, but like figure things out just in understanding my value. As you're going through that journey, you may not always feel the most confident. So you feel uncomfortable asking for certain things.
Yeah.
But definitely talking to those two, I was like, dang, I feel like I ain't even asking for enough. Like I'm tripping, So that was great. Even my former co-host and good friend Michael Smith, like um a lot of times women, when they're in these environments, in corporate environments, they feel like men that they sometimes either work with, like they always have an agenda that's not always pure. And one thing I love about Mike is like every piece of advice he gave me always came from a pure place. And like he actually advocated for me in a lot of ways. And it's hard for women to find for real male allies. And one of the best things he did was told me how much money he was making, and was very honest about that when we were co-hosts. because he was like, I'm just going to tell you as you're negotiating, like, this is what I'm making. And while he had more experience as a host, the reality is like we were about to host a show together doing the same job. And he's
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm making, whatever. And because we wound up having the same agent, we were able to, in salary, stand in solidarity. And that meant a lot. And that got us both paid, right? Because, he was of the mindset of like, I'm not going to take a bunch more money than her. And I was the same. He had a little bit more leverage because he had more time at the company than I did. But, especially after my first contract, because of the way that came in, I was making less money than him and we were doing the same job. But he told me then what he was making. And so, like, along that journey, when you talk about like a real ally, like that's real.
Yeah.
And we were like, we going 10 toes down together. And it's hard to find that in a workplace, be it not just with the salary, but even with other things creatively that we were advocating for. It's we sort of took that before he even said it, that Jay-Z line of nobody wins when the family feuds. So whenever we had any level of disagreement, we never disagreed in front of the other folk. Whatever disagreements we had, he and I working it out on the phone, we going to dinner, we going to talk about it. Nobody can ever say they ever saw us arguing in front of them at ESPN, because we understood like we need to show this solidarity so that they know they can't divide us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really important. So that was like sort of a part of that board of directors that you need as you're progressing. Even my girl Carrie, that I co-host Flagrant and Funny with, is like, Carrie had been through a lot professionally. We both had been through a lot, but she had really been through some stuff. And so, the one thing about her is like, she is I've learned a tremendous amount from her in terms of like advocating for self. Because she's never afraid to do that. And it's taught me a lot about how even if you have an agent, even if you have a publicist, you got to be your own best at both of those things in like every space. And so I consider that to be like invaluable to understand. So overall, I would say, my tribe has been incredible and a big part of where I am. Like my chief of staff is my best friend from high school, and we've known each other 30 years, going 30 years plus. I know I can trust her with anything. She's a vault. I ain't got to worry about certain things getting out. Like, I don't have to worry about none of that. And that's like a relief when you have somebody in that position. So she's like a consigliere, so to speak. And so she's Tom from The Godfather, which I appreciate. So like, you, as great as you may think you are, like, you need a trusted group around you that will bring out the best in you and bring out different things in you. So like, I can say with my whole chest that my tribe has been truly amazing.
Well, you filled all those board seats, the cheerleader, the critic. And I'll say, when it comes to the critic, it isn't someone that is just criticizing you to criticize you, right? They're coming from a place where they are emotionally invested in your success. So they're going to say, like you said about your husband, this is great. And it's kind of like improv. Yes. And let's do this next time. Potentially. And then that connector, that person who's telling you the truth. And I do think it's very important for women, as hard as we work, to find that ally that it's not the other only woman in the building, because all the women can't have that one woman who's the mentor. She needs a break. And there are going to be some rooms that she's not in. So people speaking your name, putting it out there as an opportunity for you. We need to pay her more, give her this opportunity, test her in this way. You want folks, again, who are genuinely interested in your success to be that connector for you. And we didn't mention this, but the last board seat is the consoler, that person who has whatever ready. There's the folks who are already cheering you on, and other people that you go to that will allow you to say what you need to say. Let it out, cry, and not criticize you for whatever failure or misstep you may have had, but just let you feel your feelings. Is there a particular person that shows up?
I was going to say that is also where my husband is really good at. Is because he knows that I am still working on expressing vulnerability, and he knows I'm a brooder. Like, I'm not the type that is outwardly emotional, I would be thinking deeply about some things and be brooding to myself. And because he is such an open communicator, his style encourages me to be open. And when I am, he knows, like he can sense my moods really well. So he knows when I need to hear something comforting. He often, just lets me know that it's okay, that I don't have to be perfect at everything. That I don't have to, sort of um I'm not, there's gonna be things I'm not gonna figure out right away, and that's fine. And so he's always like, he's very good at knowing what I need when I need it. And so like he probably would have multiple board roles. But yeah, somebody who's a consoler who can bring out a level of emotion in me that I don't share with very many people.
And I would imagine he's always bringing you back to those brand values, that spicy chicken recipe. Like you might not get it right all the time, but you are doing you, Jemele, and that
Yeah.
is the win.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That's
No, he brings me back to that. And he also is good at reminding me of that take more I need to take more pride in the small wins, in the sense of like, he's like, "Hey, I know you don't have this big thing figured out, but did you pay attention to like the 10 things you did that like were kind of amazing?" Like he's really good at reminding me like, "Yeah, I understand you didn't bring world peace. Like I get it. That's kind of complicated, but did you see the other 9 ways in which you were able to make something really great happening?" So he's very good at reminding me that it's okay, to take pride and to really feel good about what I've accomplished.
well,
Because
I will join
I
the
need that.
chorus.
I need that sometimes because I get so fixated on tackling the big things that I forget about the small and important victories along the way.